trying to change this article, it had nothing to do with anybody at all. It just said, you know, we want to get people out, so this is an easy way to get people out.
Well, it's not meant to be an easy way to get people out.
Well, of course it is, Don. Who you kidding?
Douglas, don't. You don't need to argue with it.
He's not arguing with me. He can state what he thinks.
It's,
Let him think, Tim.
I don't think it's, as far as I'm concerned, I can't see it. We've never done it yet. I can't see it happening.
So then why did we even change it?
There seems to be a great deal of public interest in changing it.
Because you had someone go to the dump and hammer people.
Who?
You helped him.
No, I didn't. As a matter of fact, Miss Wing, the only one I know who was putting up circulating petitions to recall an official was you.
Yeah, I helped do one.
Yeah. And who was that for?
It was for you.
Right. So I think a lot of your statements here are extremely disingenuous.
Am I trying to hide anything?
Yes.
What am I hiding? I just said I put the petition out for you.
No.
We'll do it again.
You've said a lot of things here
Nothing
that
in
you've
that-
been very disingenuous about.
Nothing in that petition was untrue.
Really?
Really.
Why don't you let me see it then?
I don't even know if I have stolen a copy, but I'll look for one.
Good. Why don't you do that?
I will.
Thank you.
Put it in the KJ or something.
Are we moving along, Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
You want
Any
to
other
questions?
remarks? Yes.
I think there's a lot of people who don't want to change the recall. You said there's a lot of people that wanted to change it. There's a lot of people that don't want to change it. I don't know how the vote will come out. You just hear from a few people. There's a lot of people that don't let the recall on it. I think you ought to leave it alone.
Well, the people can vote no on it.
I mean, they can vote the way they want, how the vote come out. I just want to point out that you said there's a lot of people who wanted to change. There's a lot of people that don't. How the vote will come out in the end, I don't know.
Well, I guess there are about 200 people who signed that petition, but, who wanted this to kind of change, even though it wasn't worded correctly.
And just for the record, Ms. Wing, I had nothing to do with that petition at all.
Doug,
Yes.
I just make a comment. I actually got that petition that offered me to sign. I didn't sign it, but I think the selectmen acted appropriately. You got a petition with how many names on it originally?
Close to 200.
Close to 200. So you were responding to 200 people in the town of Monmouth, regardless of how they signed that they wanted something, some sort of action taken. Now, the petition wasn't appropriately done, but I think the selectmen saw it as there was 200 people that wanted to respond in some fashion, and you did. Whether you came up with the right wording here, I won't debate that, but I think it was appropriate for the selectmen to respond to 200 people asking for something put forward.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, I'll close the public hearing on.
Kurt, do you have a copy of the original petition?
I do. I don't have it with me tonight.
Okay, so I can get a copy?
Yes, yes, I do have it.
Close the public hearing, and we'll go on to the minutes, October 5th, 2011. Are there any?
I would move to accept the minutes with a copy.
I emailed them to your residence, I believe. Yeah, there's a copy there. You can table if you do what time you. Okay.
They were not taken by our official
I do.
minutes.
I would move we accept the minutes with the following change. Where it says Tim McDonald said he'd been elected to KV Cog Executive Committee and hoped to provide financial assistance to Monmouth. What I said was I hope to be able to direct more services to the town of Monmouth.
That sounds good. I couldn't remember exactly what you said.
You have these in yours?
He's sent me a copy.
So you should make corrections.
I can do that.
Yeah, if you can use this, send them to the board, because that's what I see.
Okay. So can I have a motion to?
I move
No, I
accept
second.
them with that change.
Second.
All those in favor? I can agree with that.
I am only 56.
Next thing is department head reports, and I'll start with Dave.
Hi, good evening. Very busy in the last 2 weeks since we spoke. Permits are still ahead of schedule, and I'm doing a lot of inspections, so unless anybody has anything for me. That's it.
What's that? Oh, Andre.
A couple things. First of all, the Grange Hall project that we've all been talking about, the propane tanks have been installed on our side of the property to free up parking space because we had some open area. On Saturday, they'll be connecting the propane and filling those tanks. Right now, you see 3 tanks. One will be coming out, one belongs to Janus Oil, and we've contracted with Dead River because they got a lower price. So hopefully on Saturday, weather permitting, they're going to get all that done. The pipes have been run over to the generator, and the contractor will run the cables and that, I imagine, in the near future, and connect that up. So that'll give them emergency power in that building should we ever need it for a shelter or if we have a long outage. So that's all progressing real well. A week ago Tuesday, we had fire prevention up at Cottrell School. All the pre-K, K, and first graders went through the whole program. We did pick up a trailer from the town of Sabatis that they donated to us, and it's a smoke trail. We can do a lot of training with them. And I'm not quite sure the exact number of how many kids we put through, but all 3 of those grades went through. The rescue was there with their ambulance to partake in it, and the police department came up, was there most of the day. He did get called off at one point. But all 3 organizations were there, and the kids were took part in the entire thing, so it was a great kickoff. Last Sunday on the 16th, we did our annual pump testing, and I'm glad to report all the trucks passed with flying colors, so there's no maintenance issues we have to deal with like we did a few years ago. That's an annual event. We had about 8 or 9 guys help out the tester, and we do it down on Sanborn Road. It's the only place where we can get an actual lift that meets their criteria. It's kind of narrow down there when we do it, but it worked out well. All the trucks passed. Halloween's coming up, and as usual, the fire station will be open to the public. We'll be serving coffee and hot chocolate to our auxiliary. We'll be serving coffee and hot chocolate to the parents, and we'll be passing out candy that the firefighters are donating. It's kind of become the hub in town when it comes to Halloween, and they go from the rescue station up to a little bit past the funeral home, and it's nice to see everybody down there. Well, if it's a usual year, we'll have about 500 kids come through, plus their parents, and that's a pretty typical number. The last thing I have is the building at the Woolworth Estates we've been training on for the last month and a half will be burnt down on the weekend of November 4th. We have an instructor coming in from Michigan. He'll be finishing up the CAS program with a new truck and a truck that Town of Green just received. They're very similar, and we're going to be doing a 3-day training program there. We'll have a class at night in Green. On Saturday, we'll do the practice burns, and on Sunday, we'll burn the building down completely. You're more than welcome to come over and watch it. We're hoping to get a lot of use out of that building. It's really a large structure, and I was amazed when we got it for training. The basic fire school's been using it for the last month and a half, and they're done with it now, so it's our turn to pick it up and train with it. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Kurt?
Thank you, Doug. Just to go along with what Andrew finished up with, we donated a couch towards that burn that we inauspiciously picked up on down by 5 bridges. Somebody thought that they needed to drop it offside the road, so one of my men picked it up, and who said that they'd like to have some furniture in the building when they burned it, so the workaround, so we donated it to the building to get rid of it. The insulation job, the new siding, the new windows is done at the garage. Mark is sitting there, done an excellent job. Trap was up there, they took some pictures. It's going to show a big difference this winter when the cold weather comes. 2 weeks ago, as I told you, we worked with the railroad. I think the tracks, you agree, back much better than all the sun, now we get some hot dogs around, and hopefully it'll stay for a while. We've been working on the sand pile, we're about 2/3 done now, a couple days next week. If the weather cooperates, we'll have that done. November 1st, we're going to change hours at the transfer station. It's going to be in the advertising for 4 weeks running, but we're going to a normal, we've done the last couple of years, open Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, 8 to 4. Tuesday and Thursdays disappear. That's start week after next. And also, highway department will provide 8 hours a week at the same time. The last day of October, actually, we did one. And the wood cleanup at the transfer station is probably finished tomorrow. A lot of wood's been ground up and hauled off. A little more than normal, but 15 months supply there, so it's only a year supply. And the last thing I had, I wasn't here to participate, but I understand the golf tournament went well, and the town of Monmouth realized $2,371 for our needed swimmer for oil, so I thought that was very nice to hear, and the town owes a lot of gratitude to Bill Sylvester for donating his golf course for half a day or more. This tournament will go on. Bill Sylvester, he runs the golf course. Sylvester family owns it. That's all I had, Mike.
Excuse me, Trevor, did you want to mention how much money was raised for fuel assistance from the tournament, or do you?
We did. With the town, we realized $2,371.
I guess I must have missed that.
Yeah.
You mentioned that.
And what he actually did was all the sponsor money, which was about $1,700, that about 25 area businesses donated $60 or more to get your advertisement on the course, which you must have seen when you played. And that all came back to the town coffers.
It was an excellent event.
That's included in the 23.
Yeah.
Thank you. Kevin?
Hi, just reminding everybody on October 29th, 10 to 2, at the transfer station, we're going to have the National Drug Take Back. So if you have any prescription drugs that are outdated, you don't have to use or anything like that, drop them off the transfer station, I'll be there from 10 to 2. Myself and the 2 full-time officers today, not today, I'm sorry, on Sunday, did a joint training with Winthrop PD. That was for active shooter training. Those of you who don't know that active shooter training is, it's basically anytime that there is a shooter actively killing people, whether it be in a school or anything like that, trained to go in there and neutralize the threat. So that's what we did. That was an all-day. Started at 8 o'clock in the morning, finished 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Talked to Herb today about the no parking on the streets after November 1st. My office is going to be going out at night and putting flyers on the windows that the vehicles that are parked on the street, letting them know that the ordinance November 1st at May, right?
Yeah.
And that's all I got.
Thank you. What was the active shooter training at the school?
It was at Winthrop High School, yes.
Andre, I had a question about it. I noticed that some stop signs, there are
Numbers?
Numbers?
What that is it's selected intersections right now. If we're responding from the center of town or North Monmouth, the numbers will read, if you want to, like when you pull out the fire station, there'll be one there that'll say 770 and lower to the right, 771 and higher to the left. You'll see them at all the intersections on 202. We put them on Blue Road, we put them on Wilson Pond Road, all those areas, and it's always been a problem. You pull up, you don't know whether to go right or left. Well, now if we have the street, the number of the street we're going to, we can do that.
Are they stenciled or are they on the sign?
They're on the stop sign, just below the stop sign. Herbie helped us with DOT to get permission to put them on their stop signs. They're a little bit small in this. I can bring the sample, I probably should have. And they're a white background with a red reflective lettering. So the whole sign's reflective, the white and the red. And the rescue's been notified of it. I spoke to the police chief about it earlier. And you'll see them crop up at a few more intersections as we find some. We think we should go down the bottom of the Berry Road on 135. The rescue goes down that way quite a bit.
You need one community drive on Drake. You ever been down there?
Yeah, well, we haven't done any of the private roads. We've been sticking to the main roads.
Terrible down there, trying to get in there and the road goes this way, this way. You get a fire call, if you get a fire call, they're so back in the woods, you really probably
wouldn't
must
see
take
it.
it, flame it up, not know it. And you can't find it.
So far, Kenny Gillespie went around and put them up last week, and we have, I think, 17 of them installed right now.
Other towns do this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
see it when I deliver.
Yeah, we picked it up off some other towns in that year. That was predominantly when you get to the end of Main Street on 202. That was one of the worst intersections, which way do you go? And you'll see one over there on both sides. There's one coming up over Blaisdell Hill from the North Monmouth truck. There's one coming in this way.
The other thing we should consider, Doug, is all the private roads in most of the towns I deliver have red signs, red street signs. You see a red street sign that warns the responders it's a private road and it may not be as well maintained, clearance and things like that as a regular road. Something to consider as we move forward with the signage.
Well, any of those roads would be a lane, a boulevard, or a drive.
Pardon?
And all the private roads here in Monmouth are lanes, boulevards, or drives. Streets, avenues, and ways, is that the other one? Or are public roads.
Ways to people single drive all the way back. House way back. Good guys.
Anything else for anybody? Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have
Oh, sorry.
just to let you know that the town, got notice from the county commissioners last week that we prevailed in the case of Kenneth Williams versus the town of Monmouth. This was a tax appeal for property that Williams owns on Maple Ridge, I believe. He had appealed and prevailed because the commissioner said all the evidence presented by the town indicates that the neighborhoods are assessed the same. What they mean is that the town has mathematical models based upon for assessing, which is a lot better than the town I live in, where they use the Ouija board, I think. So, you know, I point this out to you because I think we've got a good system here. I mean, this is only the third appeal since the reevaluation was in 07. Prevailed in 2 out of 3. And I think that between the assessing agent and the system we pay for, we've got a good system. Also, I was asked to bring to your attention and remind you that you are invited to the playground dedication at the Cottrell School, October 21st at 2 p.m. Swings. And I wanted to let you know that November 10th, I believe, is Veterans Day. Veterans Day? November 11th. November is Veterans Day. It's a Friday. We're closed on Friday. What we'll try to do, though, the law requires we give people a holiday work, so they wouldn't get a holiday because Friday was closed. So we would have to close the day before, but we'd rather not close with the public to have access. So Lori has agreed, Lori Walker's agreed to work Thursday. 2 of the employees will have Thursday off, and then she'll have Monday off. I think that'll work for the public, allows us to give employees, Dave and I work Fridays, we'll get Friday off. But we want the public us to be open as much as possible. So as you know, that we had, it's rare for holiday on Friday. And I also got a letter from Steve O'Donnell, the chair of the planning board. He was asked to consider the planning board position regarding the code enforcement officer and the new building code. The new building code, you know, requires lots of inspections that were required before. As a time consequence of that, the planning board said they really didn't have a strong opinion on that, except they didn't want, they could see it might interfere with their work ultimately. In that case, they certainly wanted to have that taken care of. Dave has agreed to monitor time for the next few months here, and during budget season, we'll be able to adjust if we need to, the hours accordingly. But they said they had a good working relationship, a very positive relationship with Mr. Shaw. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, next thing is the municipal evaluation return.
Jim, this is done annually and has to be submitted to the state, and it's quite a lot of material there, but the primary stuff hasn't changed a lot. His values haven't changed a lot in the past year at all. But the town has an overall value of $396 million, which is pretty much the same as the couple of years. And so it's been prepared by the assessing agent, and it's recommended for your approval. It includes, I think it's 10 pages here. It includes everything from information on homestead exemptions, for example, there were 1,037 homestead exemptions for $10 million in value. There's information on business equipment and taxes, personal property, forestry. For example, there is 1,249 acres in tree growth in the town. There's 46 acres in farmland. Not 46 acres, I'm sorry. There are 1,020 acres in farmland. There's a lot of information there. It doesn't mostly change from year to year. There's $16 million in exempt property, including buildings at Compton and this one, for example, schools. There's a lot of exempt property, and it lists those in detail. Veterans exemption, they're about the same number. There are 69 veterans exemptions. It talks about the reval and so it's recommended for approval. Here's your signature.
What's the difference between this year's bottom line of $402 million and last year's? What was last year's?
$2 million probably.
About $2 million.
$2 million.
I'll move to accept.
Second. All those in favor? Thank you. We can sign everything. It's okay.
Your increase. Yes.
The next thing on the agenda is public comment.
I have to go pick up all my boys at 7:30, which is fine. Okay, my name is Amy Dolan. I'm see me before. I'm here on behalf of the Monmouth PTO today, and it's in reference to what Kurt had already said about the playground dedication, which is on Friday at 2 o'clock. And it's a very exciting time, as I reported before. The playground is up. The kids have been playing on it. It was up for the first day of school. They've been very excited. Not only are there swings, but there's lots of slides. So that's fun to do too.
I've flipped it 3 times this week.
I'll just keep talking. It's all good. But there was an invitation that went out to all the selectmen, so I'd like to personally invite you all to come on Tuesday or on Friday at 2 o'clock, but also community members as well. It would not have been possible. We actually got that playground up. We started fundraising last summer. So within a year, and if you remember how long it took the middle school playground to go up, and it was due in large part by a very large donation that was done